It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Insight. Mayor Fanucci, along with yours truly, Jim Quinn, and it's great to have you here. We're at the beautiful Quinn Restaurant at Lincoln and Landis Avenue in Vineland, and we're going to be talking about the hot topic for our first portion of the program tonight. Mayor, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too, Jim. Thanks for having me back.
Thanks for coming over. Appreciate it.
Of course.
As you see how beautiful this restaurant is, it's very nicely decorated. Don't forget, too, they also have the Cedar Rose Winery wines of all sorts that you can select. And I've never had a bad meal, and their prices are very reasonable. So come on out and enjoy the great food at the Quinn Restaurant, Lincoln and Landis Avenue in Vineland, one of Vineland's many new restaurants that are great. Have you been to La Vita? Is that the new one?
Not yet. So they just opened. A lot of my friends have been there. Some family's been there. A lot of my staff has been there. And I have to really get some time to get over there. When they opened, I was out of town that week at a wedding. And now that I'm back, it seems like the summer's blown by so fast.
Amazing.
But yeah, we want to try to stop over there sometime next week.
Yeah, it's nice.
Plenty of parking, lit, easy to find.
Yeah, that's
I wish them well.
Yeah, you bet. Well, anyway, last night our crew was at the Cumberland County Tech Center for the public hearing on the broadband. It's called Middle Mile is what they have.
Correct.
And Mayor, do you understand it?
Yes. For the good and the bad, I have enough knowledge to be dangerous.
Well, that's good. Tell us what you know.
So this is a dark fiber segment, which means that middle mile is the connectivity that starts from the poles, from pole to pole, and will get you to a certain point. It's not the end mile, which gets you to the home, right? But it's dark, and what it means by dark is not that it's nefarious. It's dark because it's not lit up. It's not active yet. So there's grant money that is out there from the federal government that is able to be utilized. There's about 24 plus or minus $1 million available to be shared between Cumberland and Salem counties. There are some matching components to it, but it is a significant amount of money to help, get this thing up to a certain point, and then you can, make some deals to negotiate with providers to do the end mile. You can operate your own network. You have a lot of different options, but there's a lot of misconceptions to what this really is and what it's all about, and also how it correlates to what I'm trying to do in Vineland. So there's been a lot of negativity around it with a lot of bad information that is being spewed all over.
It's interesting. When you were a little boy, I built a cable system in Morrisshire Township, Commercial, Lawrence, Down, Fairfield, and Deerfield, 6 townships. At that time, it seemed to me it was costing us maybe $10,000 a mile. And what we had to do was go rent space on every telephone pole, and you had the communications section of the pole. And luckily, we had a crew that we built our own, so we probably did it for less than going 10,000 a mile at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But we built over 100 and some miles of cable. And luckily, the way it was set up is if, like, you have somebody that lives 3 miles away, you don't have to go serve them because you're never going to recoup the money it's costing you to run the 3 miles to get to that house.
Right.
So, for instance, Morrisshire Township just recently got together and they are working with Comcast. And I think they're putting up 75% of the cost. Comcast is taking on 25%. So the areas that I was not able to service when it was Clover 45 years ago or so, now they were able to do that. And then Hopewell also partnered with Comcast, and I guess they're doing a similar situation there. But the middle mile, like you said, it's a little confusing for people. But I do know Jerry Velasquez told me that whoever wants to, I guess, go from the middle mile to the home,
The end.
then the end, to get it to
Right, that end mile.
right, the end mile, then they have to pay that, I guess, and then pay a lease to come.
There's a variety of things. If you run the infrastructure, of course, and it's your fiber, then they're going to have to lease that fiber from you. And in this particular case, if that fiber belonged to Cumberland County, they'd be leasing the fiber. much like in the city of Vineland where we own our poles.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. You're lucky.
And we have lease agreements with, Comcast and Verizon and AT&T and T-Mobile and so forth to use our poles and or our towers,
Right. Yeah.
to put their equipment. So if you own the portions of your infrastructure, of course, it's a revenue generator for you when someone wants to do that. The problem is the naysayers are saying that if that middle mile is run throughout Cumberland County, nobody's ever going to want to pick up the end mile. Nobody's ever going to want to use that infrastructure, and it's never going to get lit up. Well, there's no crystal ball, but I find it hard to believe that a provider is not going to come in after that middle mile is there to say, wow, I don't have to run from here to the other end of the Queen restaurant. That's already run for me. I only have to plug into that port there and this port here. And then you have a tremendous, revenue stream. Why would you not? Especially if you can negotiate a fair deal for the use of the fiber, right? And then, of course, you're not really responsible for that. It's someone else's responsibility, or you pass that responsibility on to them by giving them a favorable lease term. There's a variety of ways to do things and negotiate. The problem I have, and I don't want to be overly negative, but I had to leave that meeting a little bit early last night because I had a charitable foundation meeting that I had to attend, and my presence was required there. That having been said, I wish I could have been there a little bit longer, because as after I left is when people decided to have some comments in regards to our project in Vineland and what's going on. But some of these folks, I would challenge their information, where it came from, why they believe what they believe. Furthermore, I would ask them, to really put their business acumen on the line and find out what it is and what their experiences are in life. You have one person that, got up to say that, we've denied OPA requests for our feasibility study in Vineland. It's absolutely true. We denied the OPA request because our feasibility study does not pertain to the broadband that they're discussing for the middle mile in the county alone. My feasibility study that was done for the city of Vineland is full of proprietary information. Legal has cleared the fact that it was denied because of certain aspects that are in there that I won't disclose in public.
Right.
But there's a lot of proprietary information that's there in regards to what we're doing, because we're not looking at just trying to run fiber. People are sorely mistaken, because there's a ton of fiber that's already been run through Vineland over decades. We've had a fiber optic network here. We have rings here in the city of Vineland. My concept is for a true smart city. And that's the big difference. And I'm not going to give my playbook out with proprietary information to everybody around me because someone wants to satisfy their curiosity. Because if they read our feasibility study, they would realize the information they're spewing is completely contradicted in our study, which was a very full, robust study on everything. I don't enter into business lightly, as you know.
Right.
And there's a big difference there. We've just recently rolled out the My Vineland app, so you can go into your app store, your Google Play, and or Apple, the Apple iPhone store, and look at these in the App Store. Download it, and now we've released our app. So we've finally been able to build it out, release it to the public. It's part of our smart city. It's part of this overall global plan that we've been talking about for the last several years in planning. We've revamped the customer service portal for the utilities and the way things work inside the utility, on how you'll be able to sign up for electronic payments, electronic billing, all kinds of electronic methods. Do anything and communicate that you want to alleviate extra costs to the city, because costs are rising every single day. How we print, how we contract out our printing, the things we're going to be utilizing. There's a whole global plan on how we're going to be pushing information out to kiosks all over. And the connectivity is very important for that. So, we could probably sit here for a day and talk about all the things that we're working on. My problem is with some folks out there is, don't bring Vineland into your madness.
Yeah. Right?
We're not part of that. We're trying to help get this grant because of the position Vineland was in for a project that was more than shovel ready. This helped with the grant application to help Cumberland qualify. And, a lot of folks want to turn this back. And I know the county commissioners are in a very difficult spot.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
You know how it is. You've served. You listen to the handful that are in your meetings, but there's 165,000 people in this county.
Right.
And if 100 of them had something to say, but 164,900 have something else to say, you never hear from them.
Yeah, that's true.
It's tough. So this is a big deal, but I'm sorry I digress, but I know you might have more questions on how this went last night. But.
Well, I watched some of it, quite a bit of it when I got home.
Your playback was great, by the way. Thank you, because I was able to go on and watch the playback of the the pieces that I unfortunately had to miss to be at my other meeting. So I have a list of the folks I need to speak to directly soon.
The one thing that you mentioned that I've always been so happy for Vineland is that you own the poles. You have, the opportunity that no other, you have your own electric utility.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's what's great. And to be able to have that, that's one reason too. Vineland's such a desirable place to come, folks, for building a building or, setting up your business, because the electric rates are cheaper than other areas.
Correct.
As well. So, that really makes it nice, because like I was saying, when I built the cable television system in 1980 and 81, we had to pay the Atlantic Electric for the space on the pole. We had to lease it, and get permission and all that type of stuff. So you have that benefit where it's your pole, and you can run, the fiber you already have, I guess, that's set up.
Correct.
So what about areas as an example, Jody Farabella, the former chief of police in Millville, who I think the world of, and I know you do too, he's way out Newcomb Town Road. And I mean, I had talked to him about maybe, a wireless internet. Would that be possible for him to get part of what you're going to be doing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And, and part of what we're trying to accomplish is areas that you can't get the fiber to or the cable to, is to not let the cat too far out of the bag, but create a secured wireless network to those areas where they can then pull off of our signal, buy signal, right, and utilize it just like you would. Of course, nothing's as good as a hard wire, right? But at the end of the day, the technology is incredible now, and you can give them something. But if you listen to some of these people in the room last night, people like Jody, they have it all over there. They're not underserved. They're not. You're right. They're not underserved. They're not served at all.
Right.
If it wasn't for you and what you put up.
Yeah.
Right? Because he was getting his stuff from you. I mean, the poor guy probably had to wait forever to get cable television over there, regular cable. I'm sure probably he had a satellite dish at some point or something like that, one of those direct TV type things, until you can get cable down there. But it's hard, and people don't understand what's happening down by the Bayshore and the outliers in the county and the smaller areas. I know that Morris River and Hopewell had to make their deals, and they made deals with Comcast. The sad part is that the community is bearing the 75% of the brunt of that. Yeah. I wish that things were a little bit different, and the sentiment within the county elected officials to really embrace this for what it is and see past the negativity and look for the positive in this, because there's more positive than there is negative. Unfortunately, the naysayers are the ones you hear, because frankly, those costs probably would have been reversed for those communities. It would have been 25% versus 75%.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, and I know they talked about, there's still money has to be contributed to the $24 million. Yes, there are, but the $24 million is a large amount of money.
It is.
You're taking the risk of passing that up. So, I mean, that's got an advantage to the community, I guess.
And that's just the beginning of the money.
That's true. Good point.
There's more out there. There's the BEAD program with the state. There's a variety of other things that are here that people are not researching, looking into, and asking the questions on, taking into consideration. And they're just dumping on this. And here's the thing. I forget the number of communities. Maybe it was 200 that applied for this. 35 of them received it.
Wow, that's great.
We were one of the 35.
Yeah.
And if they vote to send this back,
it's going to go to somebody else.
Correct.
Yeah. Isn't Congressman Jeff Van Drew, I guess he was there in the beginning. I didn't see the beginning.
Correct.
But he was very instrumental in getting the money.
He absolutely was. That is correct.
So, I mean, that's something, that's important. There's no question. And like, you say, that's a lot of money, and it's going to be working with Salem County. It's a cooperative deal. So that gives you even twice the value when you look at what's being able to be done with that. I know I've talked to Jerry Velasquez, and I guess the authority would be the main organization that would sort of oversee the hookups, or?
It's a good question. I don't know what they structured with Salem. I know that the authority was instrumental and very pivotal in assisting to get the grant. We had worked with them early on, had a number of meetings with them and their team to put together the grant application. We provided letters of support. So they were definitely the conduit that we were dealing with. How it will work from here, I don't know. And if they turn the grant back, then obviously it's not going to work for revenue.
Yeah. Yeah, it is an interesting topic. I watched what I could, and you get the negatives and not a whole lot of positives. I wonder who this organization is that keeps running those negative ads on Facebook.
Apparently, one of the folks from that organization was there last night.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see the person. I didn't hear the person. I have to go back and watch the playback again to pinpoint who it was.
Yeah.
People were supposed to identify themselves if they were being compensated in some fashion by one of the current utilities that are out there providing this service. I noticed that a couple people said, I am not directly compensated. Not directly, so are you indirectly compensated? I'm sorry I wasn't there to ask the questions I may have turned to ask. So, before the speaker sits down, I said, were you indirectly compensated? Because said not directly. It tells you a little bit about it when they put the words out.
Yeah,
so
that's for sure.
But yeah, and I don't know what the gripe is overall for some of those people. I don't know if something negative happened in their community. I don't know.
Sure.
I just know that our community here as a whole, Cumberland County, is underserved.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of needs out there. There's a lot of need for connectivity. There's a lot of need for an upgrade to the 911 system for first responders.
Right.
If you have someone, the majority of these tablets like this, are in fire trucks these days, right? They're a little bigger and a little more,
right. Gotcha.
deluxe because they got to be rugged.
Yeah.
But for GPS purposes, what do you do when all of a sudden you have no signal and you fail?
Yeah.
And you're trying to respond, say from Vineland, if we're responding somewhere else. Now, we have a lot of technology and we have a lot of people that know the areas. But if you have someone new in a volunteer station and there's a multiple alarm fire and they're trying to get there, and the next thing you know, there's no connectivity, there's no internet signal.
Yeah.
How are they going to get there to help save that family? How are they going to get there to help, mitigate the damage of that fire on a home or a commercial structure? How do you do that? And no one has an answer for that. Other than that doesn't happen. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many times is a 911 call going wrong from a cell phone and someone was shot and killed in the house, the wrong house?
Yeah. Oh, gosh, yeah, that's true.
Right? They can't tell me it doesn't happen.
The other thing I find, and I have Verizon, and there are many areas I don't have a signal. I can tell you we're out near the Vineland Airport, out East Broad Street. There's certain places. Mm-hmm. It's like, guys, come on, all the money they have, can't they put another tower up or
upgrade it?
Get the signal a little better. I don't know. I'm thinking about this. T-Mobile better? Is AT&T better? I'm just curious as to why I lose signal. But again, we're rural, we're spread out a lot, and there's apparently not a tower that Verizon has out near the Millville Airport.
And they use each other's infrastructure, like they piggyback off of it.
Yeah.
So that signal is probably being drained in some fashion,
Maybe,
And I mean, Comcast has its own cellular phone service again, right? For the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
But they're using somebody else's backbone infrastructure to do it. It's not Comcast.
Right. Yeah.
It might be Verizon's, it might be AT&T's.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like that's great.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, they're not providing everywhere. So why shouldn't we be out there to help provide to those areas that need it?
Yeah, good point. We're talking with Mayor Anthony Fanucci from the city of Vineland. We'll be back to talk more with Mayor Fanucci right after these messages.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Complete Care has some big news to share with you.
We're here opening more locations and offering more services every day,
including our newest locations on Pearl Street in Bridgeton and High Street in Millville.
We're here with convenient, high-quality, and accessible healthcare services all under one roof.
We're here just a call or email away.
We're here to provide compassionate care for you and your family.
We're here and we're ready when you are.
Complete Care Health Network, ready when you are.
The most important decisions a family can make are usually made around the kitchen table. At DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, we believe pre-planning and the difficult decisions you face with the loss of a loved one should also be made around the comfort of a table, like a family. Our friendly, kind, and compassionate staff is committed to helping you get through this most difficult time. In your time of need, trust DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, Vineland.
advanced robotics, experienced physicians. When it comes to minimally invasive surgery, we don't play around.
It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Welcome back to Insight. Mayor Anthony Fanucci is with me, and we're talking about the middle wire, and I think probably exhausted as to what we know about that at this point in time. But for Vineland will have the middle wire, or you're going to be able to do
So we have a lot of our own infrastructure already in place.
Okay.
So there are areas that we don't have it up that we're going to be running it irregardless. But we're going to be having quite a few things that'll be changing in the right way for technology for future growth and use here. You know, one thing that folks miss a lot that they don't understand is that if you want to have like robust industrial areas today, a lot of it's going to require high-speed internet, and not just regular high-speed internet, but good stability and reliability on it. Because if you notice, a lot of manufacturers today, everything is automated.
Yeah.
So with the automations, they're working remotely, or they have someone programming it. Even in the produce operations, I had the privilege of touring a produce packaging facility about 2 months ago, and in there, the gentleman that was working there was programming the machine, and then it knew exactly how to measure the weight, cut the bag, seal the bag, label the bag. What the human beings continue to do is quality control check. So they're looking at whatever fruit was coming up and pairing out whatever they thought was not good was going into a separated bin, and anything that was quality enough to go to the public would stay on, and the machine did everything else. But that machine runs through an internet-based system where there's a software program that someone on the other side of the facility is able to control, see, and track for how many packages are coming out per minute, how many pounds in each package, and where they're being shipped to. It's incredible. It's incredible.
It is, isn't it? Wow. It's unreal. So first of all, I wanted to talk about the golf course. That's coming along pretty well. Have you gotten a chance to see it?
I have. I have the privilege of taking a tour of it now during its construction type phases, as far as land clearing and layout and so forth. It's one heck of an undertaking and a lot of work they're going to have on their hands. But it is a beautiful site. It is a beautiful design on paper, and just knowing the area there, it is going to be absolutely exquisite.
Yeah, this
is going to be one of the top courses in the country, without doubt, in my opinion.
Well, when you got John Ruga and Mike Trout working on it, it's got to be pretty darn good.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, they both have a passion for golf.
Yeah.
John's wife Lori is excited for this project. She's right on board and right with them step by step, as is Mike's wife.
Yeah.
And they're really ready to go. I've had the pleasure of speaking to Mike's brother Tyler a couple times about the project. Tiger Woods is now, his team's designing.
Yes.
It's unbelievable, unbelievable what they were able to accomplish. I'm so grateful, and we're so blessed in our community to have such positive development taking place here, and such an incredible monetary investment into the community.
Yeah, it is wonderful, and it's going to draw people from all over the country. It's going to be a real tourist attraction
for sure
for big time people.
I wouldn't be surprised if you have some international travelers that have a connection back to the States here, that they wouldn't be coming here. Because Tiger is a huge name in golf and all over the world.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised in the least bit if we see some international travel here at some point because of that course and because of the notoriety. Two people at the pinnacle of their sports, respectively, in Tiger Woods and Mike Trout, which is incredible, and then backed up by just humble people like the Rugas, who are just driven to succeed and do such a wonderful job. So
they sure do.
It's awesome.
It was interesting. We were talking about how well Northeast Precast has been doing, and I know we talked before, that it's not just the walls for warehousing. Mm-hmm. They are putting up the walls on highways like 95, 42, that area as well. And John and Lori are really very generous, really helping the community and give back. And just two better people you couldn't find. And of course, Mike, Jessica's his wife's name too.
Yep.
And the same with them. In fact, Mike runs a tournament, a golf tournament for the Thunderbolt Club in Millville.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they've been able to like double their scholarships they give to the athletes at Millville High School thanks to Mike and Jessica. So, yeah, that's been a real good situation there too.
You know, it's incredible. You have a young man like him that is at the top of the sport. He's an all-star, world renowned.
Yeah.
And is so grounded and still wants to be here in Cumberland County when he retires.
Yeah.
Has, you know, built his home here, has his family here. He's here in the off season. It's so refreshing to see a professional athlete with such character and grace, and never forgetting his roots. You know, Mom and Dad did a great job, obviously,
Yeah,
you know,
they did,
with all the kids.
Yeah.
You know, I see Mike's sister in the real estate world, and you know, she's doing a great job. And you know, I like to see, you know, the successes, especially of the youth. You know, our years are going by fast, and they've got plenty ahead of them. So I like seeing what I'm seeing. Tyler is a quality young man.
Yes, he
just
is.
always a gentleman when I see him.
Yeah, he's great. He's an attorney.
Yeah,
really
I mean,
good.
super to be around. Now, you served with Jeff on the commissioner
I
board,
did.
or freeholder board back then?
In fact, the city commission. What happened was, this is a funny story. In 1997, early, like January, because May's the election, I encouraged Mike to run, or Jeff to run for city commission. And one of my employees said to me, "You know what, Jim? Things are going well in the business. You always said you wanted to be the mayor of Millville. Why don't you run?" So, yeah, well, maybe I will. So I called Jeff and I said, "Jeff, I've decided I'm going to run." He goes, "You son of a gun, that's not fair. You're going to beat me." I said, "Jeff, we're going to finish 1 and 2." And we did.
How
I was
about
1
that?
and he was 2. And what a great guy to deal with. In fact, of all the 33 and a half years I served in public office, 18 and a half in Millville, and 15 with the county, there was never a better time than those first 4 years with Jeff, Jimmy Parent, John Hollingshead, and Joe Morella. You had 2 Republicans, 3 Democrats, but we didn't care about politics. That was what was wonderful. I didn't have some political boss call me up, "You better give the insurance to this person. You better do this." Nobody bothered me. We did what we thought was right. It was like, this is wonderful, you know. And then, of course, you get to the county level, it got a little different. But it was just fantastic. We got along well. Of course, Jeff ended up in, I think it was 2000, 2001. He ran for freeholder, and he won in that monsoon season. Usually Republicans weren't winning, but they had a massive rainstorm that hit, and God bless the Republican voters. They went out and voted. The Democrats stayed home, and Jeff won. And I missed him. I hated to see him go, but I know he wanted to, you know, move on to that. And just a great guy, and still is. In fact, I have a good Jeff Trout story to tell you. I've been a season ticket holder at the Phillies for 20 years now. So about 15 years ago, 16 years ago, they invite me up for breakfast in January, and we get to talk to the manager, the coaches, a couple players. So one breakfast meeting, I'm with Charlie Emanuel talking to him. I said, "Charlie, do you remember Jeff Trout?" He said, "I sure do." He said he was one of the best hitters Charlie ever had. Charlie managed him in AA ball.
No kidding.
Yeah, in Orlando. And he said he was absolute, and I mean, Charlie's managed major league players now. He said, "I'm telling you, he was one of the best hitters I ever had at all." And later on, there was a old timer. Now this is all before Mike was a little boy. Wasn't even around to be compared to, but it was really a nice compliment. But that's where Jeff taught Mike a lot about hitting.
I'm sure.
And Mike was a good learner and became one of the best baseball players in America. And speaking of that, the 28th, the 29th, and 30th of August, coming up soon, it's the 28th is Millville night. It's about 500 people are going up, and then the mayor gets to throw out the first pitch, and they'll have an ad up for Millville on the scoreboard. But Jeff said that Mike's going to play, but it's really going to be close. You know, he's broke his wrist, and you know they're trying to hope that he's been hitting now, so hopefully by that 10 days or whatever, he will be able to play.
Nice.
But it was just really interesting. And Charlie, I was at an old timers baseball banquet, and Charlie was a speaker. And he said that same thing that he told me about Jeff Trout. When I talked about Mike, he said, well, I can tell you, I had his dad. And Charlie did say to me, and that happens. It's like Buddy Kennedy. I'm sure you know him and Don Money, right? But what happens sometimes is Jeff was a second baseman in the Minnesota Twins organization. So whoever was the second baseman was an all-star for the Twins. So there was no movement for Jeff to go up. The position he played was locked in right then.
Right.
So he finally said, hey, I got a family, I'm going to leave, and I'm going to go teach school with Coach Baseball at Millville High, which he did, and it certainly worked out well for him. But it is interesting. And Buddy Kennedy, thank God he's back now in Major Leagues. He's back to the Arizona Diamondbacks. And what a great kid, and he played with Mike. He was maybe a freshman or sophomore. Mike was a senior. No, maybe he wasn't, but he got Mike's shirt, the number 1 shirt. There's a great, I don't know if you've seen it there, we play it a lot on Channel 22. There is a video that we got from Major League Baseball. It's Millville to the MLB to Millville or something like that.
Okay.
They follow Mike. They follow him to Jim's lunch and all the different things that he's doing and what it's going around. It showed downtown Millville and show the high school. They show some of the players that followed him. And Buddy Kennedy's in that segment of it as well. One of the best interviews besides the one you and I do, one of the other favorite ones I did was with Buddy Kennedy and Don Money.
I can only imagine Grant with grandson, right?
Yeah, isn't that great? I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. And Don, I've known for years. Don was actually like the color commentator and statistician for Vineland basketball and football and WWBZ.
Okay.
So we would sit next to each other. We'd be doing, both of us would be doing Sacred Heart basketball. And he was just really a good guy. And I'm so glad that his grandson's doing so well.
Nice.
Also. We're talking with the Mayor Fanucci for the city of Vineland. And we'll be back with the mayor right after these messages.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
We're all looking for God. All the signs point to, there is really a God. We try to find Him in all kinds of ways, in all kinds of places, and through all kinds of things. But there's only one way to find Him. That's by personal experience with Him. Come visit us this Sunday. We can introduce you to Him. New Life Church, Millville, New Jersey.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Welcome back to Insight. I'm Jim Quinn. My special guest for this program is Mayor Anthony Fanucci from the city of Vineland. And I was telling the mayor I have a really great friend, Larry Mulford. Larry was a Millville police officer, and when I was the mayor, I get bored, so I do ride-alongs with a police officer, and I used to do ride-alongs with Larry. And Larry has the best sense of humor, and he's related to Judge, now he's Hal Johnson, who's county administrator.
Sure.
We talked about it, and Hal has a great sense of humor too, and it's just really. And my point is, Larry is now working in the inspections department.
L&I,
license and inspections, and the city of Vineland has the best license and inspections department anywhere. You got Matt Rabbi, who's got a great sense of humor, and you got Derek Leary and Joy and Rhonda and the people that used to be in Millville, and they got smart. They came to Vineland, and let me tell you, they do a fabulous job. They really do. I know Jane Janarone and I flipped homes at Vineland, a few of those. Couldn't have been nicer, couldn't have been more helpful. And that's what is important. People want that. They go the extra mile to help you out. And I know you tell them this is what we do.
It's exactly it. I mean, we want to be open for business, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, that statement has multiple meanings, but we're open because we want new businesses here. We want them to feel welcome. We're open for business because we're here to enhance what they're trying to do. We want to promote those businesses. And L&I does do a great job. And there's a lot of inspections going on. There's a lot of growth happening in the city. And, you know, we're grateful for that, but it's part of the team. You know, listen, you know how it is. You're the figurehead. I'm the figurehead now. You know, we live and die by the sword, right?
Yeah.
But it's how your team performs for you and what they can do that really makes it, you know, work. So, you know, I like to think that I'm a fairly decent coach, and our team performs very well to our standards and each and every single day. And they understand that we want excellence, but we're going to hold people accountable. You know, we understand mistakes happen, and sometimes, you know, we all falter, but we need to be there to pick each other up, continue to move in the right direction, and be positive. The whole thing is positive.
Yeah, exactly.
If people have a positive experience, or even when it may not be their favorite thing happening, or it might be they perceive something negative, you're handling it in a positive manner, you're handling it professionally, it goes a long way. And people respect that, and they want to continue to do business in these areas. So I'm very grateful, and you're right. We do have a great team with L&I, and I'm very fortunate to have, you know, my city council, who's right there, that always does a great job, and, you know, understands what we need to do legislatively in the city. You know, Bobby D, Rick Tanetta, I mean, Sandy Forsiski, the list goes on and on and on. You know,
Well, there's three great people. You just mentioned the last three as well. And I'll tell you, I remember Bobby, the great pitcher at Little League, and his mom is a sweetheart. His dad passed away several years ago, but what a great guy he was too. You used to see them at the Little League fields and that type of stuff. And you could, again, you just mentioned those three people. You don't get any better. You know, I mean, you know, Rick, Sandy, and Bobby, they're good people. They're there to help and do as much good things as they possibly can. And Rick has to, you know, make sure everything's balanced as the attorney, but what a good attorney he's been for a long time.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
you know, he just, again, finding the people is what's so important. And that's why the city of Vineland is doing so very well. Are you going to purchase more land, do you think, Mayor?
We have been in acquisition mode for a while.
Right.
We have purchased a number of parcels in the most recent year that we've identified that made a lot of sense to pick up with the right zoning, so we can turn them back over and work towards development and other things for the city. So yeah, if there's something that is here within our borders that makes sense to acquire, to develop, we're all about it.
Makes sense because it gives jobs, ratables, businesses opportunity. And the wonderful thing is, I don't know if many of you ever get to the Vineland Industrial Park, but it is just packed. It's so good to see. It's so wonderful. All the jobs are there, all the ratables that are there. And I know that, you know, I know Stanley and I've talked about working with the state on that one over the West
Almond Road, the West Campus.
Right, the West Campus. So, you know, hopefully that can become a reality sometime.
We hope so. We're getting closer with that. And to be honest, you know, we're so grateful to the businesses that started here in that industrial park, even well before me, the ones that have come in, you know, under me, and the ones that'll be here after. Because at the end of the day, they are a backbone of property taxes in this city.
Yeah, for sure.
In job creation and retention. They are truly a gem, and we are very blessed to have the number of businesses we have, and those that are continuing to inquire about coming in. I wish that we had to let a couple things Millville got because we just didn't have sites for them.
Yeah. That's you know, like that's why I say I think Sandy and I've talked about that too, trying to acquire other parcels that are close to maybe the industrial park area, you know, and that's one of the nice things too. Vineland's right off of 55. And that makes it so nice. And Vineland Industrial Park, Garden Road, boom, you're right there.
Absolutely.
And, the guy that opened the gas station used to be at the restaurant downtown, Ziggy.
Oh yeah.
I bet Ziggy's happy he
Oh, that truck stop, sure.
Yeah, that's
very busy, that corridor. And as you know, the intersection has been completely redone at Garden and Mill.
Right.
Put a traffic light in to alleviate, as many of these accidents as we could. Widen the entryway to Garden Road from Mill. Really did a great job redesigning and redoing that intersection. I'm very proud of the finished product. It's a much safer corridor now for all those traveling.
Yeah, exactly. It really is. It makes it really nice to see. And as we talk about the VDI, Vineland Downtown Improvement District, I want to congratulate Brian Lankin. He was just honored for the 50th year in a row for the best shoe store in town. And he had we just did his swim event.
Yeah.
And then they were having a roast on Brian coming up soon.
Sometime in September, I think.
I think so, yeah.
I have the date in the calendar, but yes. He's a great guy. Yeah. Al Shoes has been around a very long time on Landis Avenue. They've done a great business. I still buy my kids shoes there for school. Yeah. If my wife needs shoes and she needs them dyed for a wedding, they do it.
That's true too.
When I go hunting, I buy my every couple of years my hunting boots from there. You can go in there. It's amazing because you walk in that store and you have no idea how anybody could find anything in that place. Brian knows exactly where everything is.
He's got a photographic memory.
He must. I say, he's like, oh yeah, I have that over here. And then he comes back out. I'm like, how did you find that? But he does. But he does a great job. Yeah. He runs a good business. He's very, very dedicated to the Downtown Improvement District. And he's always dedicated to trying to talk about all the positive attributes of Vineland. Exactly. Very grateful, again, for him being there as a long-time business on Landis Avenue and continuing to keep that legacy alive of his family's business and now his. So proud of Brian.
Well, and talking about VDID, of course, Russell Swanson and Rob Scarpa both run the VDID and do a great job there as well. And there's a lot of activity on Landis Avenue. What about Josie's Lights?
The ones that are going across?
Yeah, across Landis Avenue.
Yep, so we looked at the samples of the lights. Recently, the electric utility got samples in from the company. We picked the ones that we want to utilize. So now it's a matter of getting the order filled. Supply chain still works.
Yeah, right.
Hanging out.
Yeah. We're talking with Mayor Anthony Fanucci here on the Insight program from the beautiful Quinn restaurant, Lincoln Atlantis in Vineland. We'll be back to wrap up the program right after these messages.
Complete Care has some big news to share with you.
We're here opening more locations and offering more services every day,
including our newest locations on Pearl Street in Bridgeton and High Street in Millville.
We're here with convenient, high quality, and accessible healthcare services all under one roof.
We're here just a call or email away.
We're here to provide compassionate care for you and your family.
We're here and we're ready when you are.
Complete Care Health Network, ready when you are.
The most important decisions a family can make are usually made around the kitchen table. At DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, we believe pre-planning and the difficult decisions you face with the loss of a loved one should also be made around the comfort of a table, like a family. Our friendly, kind, and compassionate staff is committed to helping you get through this most difficult time. In your time of need, trust DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, Vineland.
Advanced robotics, experienced physicians. When it comes to minimally invasive surgery, we don't play around.
It's time for Insight, an inside view of what's happening in South Jersey. Join your hosts Anthony Fanucci and Jim Quinn as QVC brings you Insight with Anthony and Jim.
Welcome back to Insight. Jim Quinn along with Mayor Anthony Fanucci, and we're happy to be with you from the Quinn restaurant where the food is fantastic, the atmosphere is beautiful. They've got Cedar Rose wines of all sorts that you can enjoy with your meal. So it's a really good place to come. They're open 6:30 a.m. till 10 p.m. and they have phenomenal prices, great food, And I assure you, you'll never have a bad meal here. And a lot of people do come by, and I talked to, Larry Mulford was saying a lot of his people will stop, when he's out, and they'll get lunch. I enjoy the opportunity to come here. I want to thank Yelmas Kankel for the sponsorship of making this program possible. It's been several years now, man.
It has. Yeah. Can you believe how much time is going by so quickly?
Yeah.
And you know what? And again, we're grateful. They do such a nice job here. They're always welcoming. Yeah. The food's very good. The service is good. The place is clean.
Yeah, very much so.
And people I think underestimate just how nice it is here.
Yeah.
I come in with my family for dinner, have a very nice dinner, and you can pretty much get anything from as simple as you want to some of the more complex dishes that would be on a menu.
Yeah.
So they do a great job, and again, the big thing is it's clean, right?
Yeah.
You go to so many places and you start looking around, right? Not here. They do a great job. Yeah, Yelmas is a great guy.
He sure is. Well, Patty Pollard said hello, Mayor, and hello to me.
Hi, Patty.
And Patty, I hope Sinatra's doing well. She's got a beautiful cat. And it's funny, I was never really a cat person, although I've had it from time to time. My son moved to Idaho, and he had a cat. He was living with me. So he left the cat with me, and now I love this cat. I mean, I can't wait to see him. He sits on my lap, and just such a nice animal, and it becomes, especially when you live alone, it's nice to have, some animal with you, I guess, that type of thing. So,
cats are great. They take care of themselves for
the
the most
do,
part.
exactly. Yeah, that's the truth. With, even if you're out, which I'm out all day, the cat's fine until I get home. It's meowing, wants something to eat. That I understand. Make sure things go on. And like one of my very favorite superintendent of schools says hello. That's Tony Trombone.
My man.
Yeah.
Hi, Tony.
He's amazing.
I haven't seen him in a while. I miss Tony. We had gotten together a couple times socially, and it was good to see him. I like him an awful lot.
Yeah.
He's an intelligent man, a hardworking guy.
Yeah.
Heart's in the right place. And you know what? He's fun to be around.
He is.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I'm so proud of him. He was able to get the funding to make Wheaton Field look almost as good as
I know.
Stadium.
I saw those pictures.
Yeah.
Incredible. Great job.
Yeah.
Really great job. Good for Millville's program.
Yeah.
Nice job, Tony, and to the board. I know sometimes it's a very difficult decision, but when I saw the photos online, I was blown away. So I'm very, very happy for them. Very happy for them.
Well, I know Tony is very appreciative of the Vineland Board of Education. A couple of years ago, Tony said, Jim, I want to do a girls' field hockey game. And the girls' field hockey coach said, we don't have a decent field in Millville to do the game on. It was going to be against Vineland. So anyway, when the time came to play the game, we played it at Catone Stadium. And it was fantastic. And Tony was so happy. In fact, he, along with someone else that he said he didn't borrow any money either. That I do remember. He was able to use money, that he was able to procure without any borrowing.
Attaboy to him.
Debt, which is great. And but he found one of the coaches, I guess, to help him do the play-by-play. And the neat thing about that was it was Claudia McCarthy's 50th year of coaching. I think it was her last year to be the coach. And her granddaughter was on the team. And her granddaughter scored a goal that set the all-time Millville High School field hockey record.
Oh, wow.
And she was able to take the ball over and present it to her grandma.
Oh,
it was
how
all
incredible.
on TV, which worked out. And in fact, I want to thank the Vineland Public Schools Television, because we work with them. If we go to Vineland, they give us the feed. They come to Millville, we give them the feed.
Nice.
And boy, Vineland's fortunate there. What a great program. Gia, I think is her name.
Yeah, she's running that program.
Yeah.
I remember when John Sabrana started that program so many years ago, and really enhanced it. When I was on the Board of Ed in Vineland, they had the program in place, and he would do all our board meetings live, and the work sessions and so forth. And it was an undertaking, and the students worked with him.
Yes.
And he did a great job then. And then he had that truck built out where he could take it
wasn't that
mobily.
something? Yeah, phenomenal.
Yeah. So it's really nice to see that continues to live on.
Yeah.
Because that was a big deal, and that was a lot of work in that program. And I remember it being in its infant stages under John. So
John kept it together, and it's really doing.
And now he serves on the Board of Ed.
That great.
Yeah. Go figure.
That's nice.
Things come full circle, but No, definitely, it's a great thing. And listen, whenever you can bring information to people, sports activities to people, graduations to people,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, it's a great feeling. I mean, you're using the technology that's been created, like you're doing tonight. And granted, today's technology is way better than yesterday's. However, there's so many people that can't get around or live somewhere else. They're able to see things that are fun, exciting, heartwarming, nostalgic. You know, and this is when the media is used for positive, and it's a great tool.
That's a good point. And what's really nice now too is for Vineland Public Schools Channel 9, is I believe the channel for Comcast. For Millville, of course, I have Channel 22, which people could be watching this on. But what's very nice now is because of the other digital, or the Facebook and YouTube and other ones, people can watch it anywhere, no matter where they are. They can watch it, and last year, I think we had over 500,000 views for Millville High School football, the whole season. Because I think Ryan told me last year our Channel 22 had 1.4 million views for the whole year. You know? But a lot of that came from Millville football because they were winning. People wanted to see it going. In fact, that's what's interesting now. Speaking of football, I'm sure Vineland's starting soon too. They moved the season ahead. Millville plays next Friday, not this Friday, but following Friday at Ocean City.
Before Labor Day.
Yes, yeah. And then the other thing is they're cutting off football at the end of November. They were going into December, but now because the wrestling and boys basketball, girls basketball and stuff, they wanted to get it done by the end of November. So it looks like the Vineland Thanksgiving game will be
their last game.
Right. Okay. But if they make playoffs, that'll happen like early November up until maybe a week before Thanksgiving.
That's nice.
Works really well. So have you taken a vacation yet?
I tried.
Did you try?
I did. I tried.
Did you turn your phone off?
No.
You're always on call.
No, yes. You know, there was one day I actually went to the beach and I was with the family, and before noon the phone was dead. So I got smart, or smart or stupid, we'll see, how to bring a battery pack with me to keep charging it because there's so much going on. But I tried. But you know what? It was good. I got to spend some nice days this summer with my kids.
That's good.
You know, and they're just all growing up so fast. My son will be 17 in September.
Oh my heavens!
My one daughter's 10 and a half. The other one's going to be 8 in October.
Wow.
Jim, frankly, I have no idea where the time is going.
Isn't it? Well, you know, this is a really interesting story. When I was county freeholder, I lost in 1991. So in 91, I was like 45, I guess, something like that. So I went to the RSVP luncheon, the last one, and I said to the people there, I said, I can't believe it's been 9 years have gone by already. That was my 3 terms I had on the freeholder board. So when I got done the speech, 2 women came up to me and they said, hey, you think it goes fast now? Wait till you get to be our age. I am now their age, and I know what they mean. It's like, wow, it's unreal how time really does fly. So enjoy it. Now, do you go to Sea Isle?
We do.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll go there. You know, we have friends that live in Ocean City, so we'll stop. But I always go see Lenny.
He's great.
He is just the best.
Yeah. Well, there's a guy that's now a county, it's county commission director.
Yes, he is.
And he's the mayor of Sea Isle as well.
One of the last few dual office holders left, right?
Because he stayed with the May election.
Yeah.
If Billville stayed with the May election, I could have been mayor and also been a freeholder at the time. Because you can stay in 2 positions.
Grandfathered in, right?
Yes, you are right. That was it. And he's one of the few that is grandfathered.
And he does a great job in representing the whole county, but especially Sea Isle City.
Yeah.
You know, he's got a great family, runs great businesses.
Yes,
you know, he's another one. He's like us. His heart is in his community.
Yeah, it is.
He's just a wonderful human being.
He sure is. I really like. But speaking of wonderful human beings, I am so proud of the Cape May County Commissioners for appointing Bobby Barr as a new county commissioner. Bobby is totally handicapped.
Yep.
He's was council president in Ocean City, and has been one of the right-hand people to Congressman Jeff Van Drew. Just a wonderful man. I was so happy to see that he got that appointment. I thought
it was interesting because I didn't know what they were going to do there, and then I heard about it yesterday.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
And on Facebook.
I was out of touch. Somebody saw it and told me about it. I said, that's great.
Yeah.
And there's a genuinely good human being And yes, you know what, he has some struggles and he has disabilities, but he makes the most of life.
He does.
He's very upbeat. He's positive. He's always happy to see you. You know, and frankly, people could learn a lesson from him.
Sure could, absolutely. And he would go out in his wheelchair and campaign, go door to door, you know, years back. And like you said, nothing stops Bobby. I mean, yeah, he's handicapped physically, but boy, he's a sharp guy.
Yes, he
personality. Like you say, I mean, you think you got to, you know, just look at somebody like Bobby who's got such a positive attitude.
Don't judge a book by its cover, right?
Boy, that's the truth.
And he's smart.
He is, yeah, very much. And he'll be contributing a lot. And the team Testa, well, they've got a lot of people running this year. Some of your friends, my friends. Skip Luisi. In fact, I want to thank Skip. I saw him at the Bar Shore Diner, and he picked up my tab along with my buddy that was with me that night.
Oh, nice.
And Skip's got such a good personality. Now, is he related to you?
So when Regina, his wife who passed away, is my mother's first cousin.
I got you.
So, you know, through marriage, Skip was related, but we've always continued to keep Skip as our cousin.
Right.
So, you know, always refer to each other affectionately that way.
What a beautiful facility, too.
Yeah. Another one who reinvested a lot of money in our community. A lot.
Yeah. The DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home is an amazing place. It really, really is.
And they do a great job.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, we've had to use Cousin Skip a number of times in the family. And, but, you know, he's always right there, especially when it's the worst moments of your life.
Yeah, and that's why he's such a special person. Team Testa's got a lot of good people running.
They do.
This year.
I guess Michael's up this year. Antoine and Eric are up this year. You have several people for the commissioner board that are up. You know, then, of course, sheriff and solicitor, surrogate. It is a big year.
It is.
Michael's top of the ticket. So
it very much is. I mean, you got a lot going on there, and you know, see what's going to happen. It's been Republican years in the past, few years especially, and the ticket right now with Mike at the top is a very strong ticket for sure.
Yeah, I would agree.
Republican situation, you know, it's just all about timing. When you
got that right.
You have a couple more years.
Next year.
I'm
up in the presidential year.
Well, that's okay.
But yeah, it's
that's good voter turnout.
Huge, right? Which is nice, right? And usually favors me, which is great. It's tough because you try to be as nonpartisan as you can in local municipal government, because you're serving everyone, whether they're a Republican or a Democrat or an independent or libertarian or whatever. You know, our goal is to be there. And then it throws you right in the middle of a partisan election.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is big. So, sometimes things get lost in the shuffle, but overall, you know, we're hoping that things continue to flow well, and we'll make some decisions on next year. Before we know it, it'll be here quick.
Well, that's the truth. Oof. My gosh, it's almost the end of the summer.
Wow, it was just 4th of July 10 minutes ago.
Oh, what a great job you guys did on the 4th of July.
Thank you.
The fireworks were fabulous, and then National Night Out. I heard rave reviews on that as well.
Thousands of people.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, they're good things, and people can enjoy what their taxes are being, given
correct
in a good way to them, so they get the opportunity to enjoy being part of the city of Vineland. Mayor, thank you so much. I know you had to rush to get here.
No, I'm glad to be here.
Appreciate it so much. Mayor Anthony Fanucci here on the Insight program. Ryan Dorowski, thank you for producing the show tonight, and we thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again real soon. Take care. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
We're all looking for God. All the signs point to, there is really a God. We try to find Him in all kinds of ways, in all kinds of places. and through all kinds of things. But there's only one way to find him. That's by personal experience with him. Come visit us this Sunday. We can introduce you to him. New Life Church, Millville, New Jersey.
This has been a QBC television production, in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22, and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.